Hi, I'm Haesley Cush, and I just wanted to update you again this week as to what's happened across our group over the last 7 days to ensure you that we are continuing to work to sell your property and you have our continued support. So this week, some huge changes took place across the industry, largely relating to investment properties. So for those of you that are landlords, I'm sure you've been following this closely, but also to those of you that were looking to sell your property to an investor. This was going to affect their confidence, and some pretty radical suggestions came out early, but common sense came back in. And so the laws now do look that if tenants have been really extremely affected by extreme hardship, they will be protected under change in legislation, but they need to have been affected by 75% or more and have less than $5,000 in the bank. For a tenant to negotiate their rent, they need to have been affected by 25% or more, and they do need to show cause. And if their circumstances change because they are a benefactor of a JobKeeper stimulus package, then they need to revert back to their previous lease agreement. So I think that's a lot of common sense. Many people have reached out, what if I sell my property? Because there was laws to say, there were suggestions that any lease that expired before the 30th of September was going to have to be extended for another 6 months. What's happened is they've said, no, it's got to be extended at the tenant's it's in favour of the tenant until the 30th of September. However, there are some exceptions, and those exceptions are for you as a landlord. If you want to move into that property, they do have to leave at the end of the lease. So it's not extended until the 30th of September. If you have an immediate family member that wants to move in, they have to move out at the end of the lease. If you want to sell that property, and you require it vacant, they have to move out. Or if you have sold the property and you require vacant possession, then they do have to move out. And so that should be comforting for those of you that are involved in that space. There's a number of other things there. Reach out to your agent and they can provide you with more information regarding this. I just wanted to give you some confidence regarding auctions. For those of you going to auction, we had 2 auctions scheduled to take place this week. One in Grey Street, a 2-bedroom unit, and one in Blakey Street, a house in Hendra. Both of those properties did sell prior to auction over the last couple of weeks. The home in Hendra sold after a private inspection to a Sydney buyer by FaceTime. They bought the property cash, unconditional, with a $2 million price tag, and the buyer for the property in the two-bedroom unit in Grey Street received 15 inspections in 13 days with 3 offers and sold prior to auction. So we are seeing buyers in the market. That stall that we saw at the start of social distancing changes, where agents and buyers and owners were trying to find their way, has stopped, and buyers and agents are now working together quite effectively to see transactions take place. The certainty in any market is the price that you can see on that day. And we are working really around the clock to qualify buyers, to ensure that funding is in place and ensure that we are negotiating the most effective and best prices that we can for you during this time. So again, I just want to reach out with this update. I hope they're beneficial for you. Please communicate with your agent, and I assure you we have your best interests at heart. You have the full support of our team. We are engaging every single morning, every single night. We are sharing all information more collaboratively than ever, and we are a fairly open book agency. So thanks again, and thanks for tuning in.